I want to welcome all of you and thank you for coming on this quite warm afternoon. Contrary to appearances, these are not ping pong paddles. They are, or tongue depressors. They are fans, and you should feel free to use them because we hope they help. So I want to welcome all of you and to say good afternoon, because this is a good afternoon. Look at all of you. Look at us gathered here for the first time to celebrate Pulitzer winners for the first time in 3 years. We're here to celebrate all of your Pulitzer Prize winning journalism, work in journalism, the arts and letters. And a number of people will come up here to collect awards today, but they represent many more people behind these stories and prizes, some of whom are here today in the audience, and some of whom could not come today. But please know that they recognize whole teams of editors and photographers and photo editors and video editors, and of course writers and everybody else. So a big round of applause to all of the teams. The Pulitzer Board believes it is never too late to say congratulations. Congratulations. I want to acknowledge the current and former board members who are here today and to thank them for their dedication to the mission of the Pulitzer Prizes, which is to honor the most distinguished, creative, and impactful work each year. As you know, juries of your peers comb through thousands of entries to select 3 finalists, and the board's job is to go through those finalists and pick the winners, to make the hard choices and select all of you. So I'd like to point out the board members who are here. Please stand up when I call your name. Nicole Carroll, John Danishevsky, Steve Engelberg, Gabrielle Escobar, Stephen Hahn, William Ketter, Carlos Lozada, Aminda Marquez, Kevin Merida, and Ginger Thompson. A round of applause. I'd like to thank all of the winners who have come today from far away: India, Hong Kong, Europe, across the United States, from Alaska, Kentucky, Minnesota, Texas, and much of the West and East Coasts. We are happy to meet you in person, and I'm sure you will enjoy meeting each other. Your work honored with 2020 and 2021 Pulitzer Prizes explores existential issues of the day: COVID-19 and climate change, America's origin story, and the killing of Black Americans, the battles for contested territory in Hong Kong, Kashmir, the ambition of Vladimir Putin, and so very much more. In journalism, literature, the arts, you have held the powerful to account for injustice. You explored violence and racial identity. You looked into the heart and soul of America. You informed and inspired us, and you won Pulitzer Prizes for it. At a time when we are regularly reminded of the deep divisions in our country, never more so than this week, we are united here in celebration of great journalism and the arts. And to give you your honors, I will hand the stage over to Columbia's President Lee Bollinger, a member of the board since 2002, who is a lifelong champion of journalism, freedom of expression, and other human rights. Please welcome President Bollinger.
It is a very, very great pleasure on behalf of the Pulitzer Board and Columbia University to welcome everyone to this event celebrating the recipients of the Pulitzer Prizes for 2020 and 2021. Of course, we all appreciate the opportunity, finally, to do this again in person. I am sure that is especially true of the awardees. But we all cherish this very special institution in our national life, and so we always enjoy being part of its ongoing heritage and legacy. In my lifetime, I cannot think of a single moment or period when the very values that the Pulitzer Prizes are meant to signify and reward are in so much doubt and peril. The idea that we should try to understand our world and employ the tools of reason, objectivity, the power of language, always with a heavy dose of self-doubt and skepticism, and even humor, is always going to be a struggle, given human nature and given the simple fact that not everyone wants to embrace the idea. But in the world today, we see a menacing and malevolent counter-effort to destroy the very idea itself, while hypocritically and deceptively pretending to be an adherent. Disinformation and deliberate falsehoods masquerade as efforts to achieve the truth. Nothing could be more sinister. Preserving the integrity of human communication is the greatest problem of our time, because nothing good can be done if the collective mind is fouled and filled with error. Whatever the problem to be addressed, whether it's climate change, disease, or the results of an election. The upshot for us here today is just that we have all the more reason to mark the importance of the Pulitzer Prizes and the university that serves as their home, and to honor the awardees we do right now. There are many, many awards in the world, especially in the realm of media, it seems, but none has more prominence and recognition than the Pulitzer Prizes. That is true for many reasons, but it is most certainly true, most certainly the case because there is a long-standing integrity to the process of arriving at the judgments we confer today. It has been my enormous honor to have served on the Pulitzer Board for now 2 decades. Few have the benefit of that exposure to the process. And it leads me to be able to say, and with total confidence, that I have never seen a process that illustrates the very highest intellectual character more than that followed by the board and the juries of the Pulitzer Prizes. And you, the awardees, are the happy beneficiaries. Now let's turn to the prizes. I'm now pleased to ask Pulitzer Prize board members and former co-chairs of the board, Steve Hahn and Mindy Marquez, to join me on stage to award the 2020 Pulitzer Prizes. Steve is a professor of history at New York University and an historian. Steve was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in History in 2004. Mindy is vice president and executive editor at Simon & Schuster, a position she took on after more than 30 years in the field of journalism, including a highly successful tenure as executive editor of the Miami Herald, during which the Herald received 2 Pulitzer Prizes and was a finalist 4 times. Steve and Mindy, great to see you.
This is really terrific. Welcome. It's a great pleasure, and as President Bollinger suggested, a real honor, finally, to be here and to award you the prizes you also richly earned. I'm only sorry that Bob Blau, who served as co-chair with me from 2018 to 2020, was unable to be with us today. As a member of the board and as a recent co-chair, I can say that although the work is very intense from December through April, I can say how stimulating and rewarding it has been to read, to listen, and to discuss the remarkable work that you all do. At a time when intellectual and artistic life is widely disparaged, when the expression and representation of our society's complex and dark layers are often attacked or dismissed, when journalists and journalism can be in multiple crosshairs, your contributions stand as symbols of a world we can treasure and hope to defend. I thank you and I congratulate you for what you have done, and I know for what you will continue to do. We will begin we will read the categories, and Professor Bollinger will give the awards. Mindy?
For a distinguished example of meritorious public service by a newspaper, magazine, or news site through the use of its journalistic resources, including the use of stories, editorials, cartoons, photographs, graphics, videos, databases, multimedia, or interactive presentations or other visual material.
The Anchorage Daily News, in collaboration with ProPublica, for a riveting series that revealed a third of Alaska's villages had no police protection, took authorities to task for decades of neglect, and spurred an influx of money and legislative changes. David Hulling and Kyle Hopkins of the Anchorage Daily News and Charlie Ornstein of ProPublica will accept the award. Congratulations.
I'll follow your example. For a distinguished example of local reporting of breaking news that, as quickly as possible, captures events accurately as they occur and, as time passes, illuminates, provides context, and expands upon the initial coverage.
The staff of the Courier-Journal of Louisville, Kentucky, for its rapid coverage of hundreds of last-minute pardons by Kentucky's governor, showing how the process was marked by opacity, racial disparities, and violations of legal norms. Mary Irby-Jones, Joe Sonka, and Andy Woodson will accept the awards. Congratulations.
For a distinguished example of investigative reporting using any available journalistic tool.
Brian M. Rosenthal of the New York Times for an expose on New York City's taxi industry that showed how lenders profited from predatory loans that shattered the lives of vulnerable drivers, reporting that ultimately led to state and federal investigations and sweeping reforms. Congratulations, Brian Rosenthal.
For a distinguished example of explanatory reporting that illuminates a significant and complex subject, demonstrating mastery of the subject, lucid writing, and clear presentation using any available journalistic tool.
The staff of the Washington Post for a groundbreaking series that showed with scientific clarity the dire effects of extreme temperatures on the planet. Chris Mooney, John Meiskens, Carolyn Van Houten, and Madison Walls will accept the award.
For a distinguished example of reporting on significant issues of local concern, demonstrating originality and community expertise using any available journalistic tool.
The staff of the Baltimore Sun for illuminating impactful reporting on a lucrative, undisclosed financial relationship between the city's mayor and the public hospital system she helped to oversee. Amanda Kell, Meredith Cohn, and Jean Marabella will accept the award. Congratulations.
For a distinguished example of reporting on national affairs using any available journalistic tool.
There are two recipients of this award, T. Christian Miller, Megan Rose, and Robert Fartucci of ProPublica for their investigation into America's Seventh Fleet after a series of deadly naval accidents in the Pacific, and Dominic Gates, Steve Militich, Mike Baker, and Louis Cam of the Seattle Times for groundbreaking stories that exposed design flaws in the Boeing 737 that led to two deadly crashes and revealed failures in government oversight. Congratulations.
There's two different ones. Okay.
Congratulations.
I must say, I love that kind of factual accuracy. Each one has to have exactly the right one. We couldn't just get through this by fudging.
Not with this crowd, Lee.
No, that's right, exactly. Factual accuracy.
For a distinguished example of reporting on international affairs using any available journalistic tool.
The staff of the New York Times for a set of enthralling stories reported at great risk exposing the predations of Vladimir Putin's regime. Malachi Brown and Michael Schwartz will accept the award. Congratulations.
For distinguished feature writing, giving prime consideration to quality of writing, originality, and concision, using any available journalistic tool.
To Ben Taub of The New Yorker for a devastating account of a man who was kidnapped, tortured, and deprived of his liberty for more than a decade at Guantanamo Bay Detention Facility, blending on-the-ground reporting and lyrical prose to offer a nuanced perspective on America's wider war on terror. Congratulations, Ben Taub.
For distinguished commentary using any available journalistic tool.
Nicole Hannah-Jones of The New York Times for a sweeping, provocative, and personal essay on the groundbreaking 1619 Project, which seeks to place the enslavement of Africans at the center of America's story, prompting public conversation about the nation's founding and evolution. Congratulations, Nicole Hannah-Jones.
For distinguished criticism, using any available journalistic tool.
Christopher Knight of the Los Angeles Times for work demonstrating extraordinary community service by a critic, applying his expertise and enterprise to critique a proposed overhaul of the LA County Museum of Art and its effects on the institution's mission. Congratulations, Christopher Knight.
For distinguished editorial writing, the test of excellence being clearness of style, moral purpose, sound reasoning, and power to influence public opinion in what the writer conceives to be the right direction using any available journalistic tool.
Jeffrey Garrett of the Palestine Herald Press of Texas for editorials that exposed how pretrial inmates died horrific deaths in a small Texas county jail, reflecting a rising trend across the state, and courageously took on the local sheriff and judicial establishment which tried to cover up these needless tragedies. Congratulations, Jeffrey Garrett.
for a distinguished cartoon or portfolio of cartoons characterized by originality, editorial effectiveness, quality of drawing and pictorial effect, published as a still drawing, animation, or both.
Barry Blitt contributed to The New Yorker for work that skewers the personalities and policies emanating from the Trump White House with deceptively sweet watercolor style and seemingly gentle caricatures. Congratulations, Barry Blitt.
For a distinguished example of breaking news photography in black and white or color, which may consist of a photograph or photographs.
The photography staff of Reuters for wide-ranging and illuminating photographs of Hong Kong as citizens protested infringement of their civil liberties and defended the region's autonomy by the Chinese government. Tyrone Su, Atit Parawangmetar, Amshri Foodnavis, Jorge Silva, and Susanna Farah will accept the award. Congratulations.
For a distinguished example of feature photography in black and white or color, which may consist of a photograph or photographs.
Chani Anand, Mukhtar Khan, and Dar Yassin of the Associated Press for striking images captured during a communications blackout in Kashmir, depicting life in the contested territory as India stripped it of its semi-autonomy. Congratulations to all of you.
For a distinguished example of audio journalism that serves the public interest, characterized by revelatory reporting and illuminating storytelling.
The staff of This American Life, with Molly O'Toole of the Los Angeles Times and Emily Green, freelancer for Vice News, for The Outcrowd, revelatory, intimate journalism that illuminates the personal impact of the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico policy. Nadia Ryman will accept on behalf of the staff of This American Life. Congratulations.
For distinguished fiction by an American author, preferably dealing with American life.
The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, a spare and devastating exploration of abuse at a reform school in Jim Crow-era Florida that is ultimately a powerful tale of human perseverance, dignity, and redemption. William J. Thomas, editor-in-chief of Doubleday, will accept the award on behalf of Colson Whitehead.
For a distinguished play by an American author, preferably original in its source and dealing with American life.
A Strange Loop, book, music, and lyrics by Michael R. Jackson, a metafictional musical that tracks the creative process of an artist transforming issues of identity, race, and sexuality that once pushed him to the margins of the cultural mainstream into a meditation on universal human fears and insecurities. Congratulations.
For a distinguished and appropriately documented book on the history of the United States.
Sweet Taste of Liberty, a true story of slavery and restitution in America by W. Caleb McDaniel, a masterfully researched meditation on reparations based on the remarkable story of a 19th century woman who survived kidnapping and re-enslavement to sue her captor. Congratulations, Caleb McDaniel.
For a distinguished biography, autobiography, or memoir by an American author.
Sontag, Her Life and Work by Benjamin Moser, an authoritatively constructed work told with pathos and grace that captures the writer's genius and humanity alongside her addictions, sexual ambiguities, and volatile enthusiasms. Congratulations, Benjamin Moser.
For a distinguished volume of original verse by an American author.
The Tradition by Jericho Brown, a collection of masterful lyrics that combine delicacy with historical urgency in their loving evocation of bodies vulnerable to hostility and violence. Congratulations, Jericho Brown.
For a distinguished and appropriately documented book of nonfiction by an American author that is not eligible for consideration in any other category.
We have 2 awards in this category. First, the Undying, Pain, Vulnerability, Mortality, Medicine, Art, Time, Dreams, Data, Exhaustion, Cancer, and Care by Anne Boyer, an elegant and unforgettable narrative about the brutality of illness and the capitalism of cancer care in America, and is unfortunately unable to be with us here today. And The End of Myth, the end of the myth, From the Frontier to the Border Wall in the Mind of America by Greg Grandin, a sweeping and beautifully written book that probes the American myth of boundless expansion and provides a compelling context for thinking about the current political moment. Congratulations to Greg Grandin and also to Anne Boyer.
for distinguished musical composition by an American that has had its first performance or recording in the United States during the year.
Central Park 5 by Anthony Davis premiered on June 15th, 2019 by Long Beach Opera, a courageous operatic work marked by powerful vocal writing and sensitive orchestration that skillfully transforms a notorious example of contemporary injustice into something empathetic and hopeful. Libretto by Richard Wellesley. Timothy Davis, Anthony's son, will accept the award on his behalf. Congratulations. We have a special citation, and we conclude recognition of the 2020 prizes with a special Pulitzer Prize citation in honor of Ida B. Wells for her outstanding and courageous reporting on the horrific and vicious violence against African Americans during the era of lynching. This citation, with the bequest by the Pulitzer Prize Board, comes with $50,000 in support of her mission. Ida B. Wells' great-grandson, Dan Duster, is here to accept the award. Congratulations.
I guess I'm done. Bye.
I'd now like to ask Pulitzer Prize board member and former co-chair Steve Engelberg to join us on stage to announce, along with Mindy, the 2021 Pulitzer Prize winners. Steve is the editor-in-chief of ProPublica, has had a long career in investigative journalism, during which his reporting and projects he supervised have received the Pulitzer Prize. So it's over to you, Steve and Mindy.
Thank you, President Bollinger. It is a pleasure to be here today in person to honor you and the extraordinary work that was produced in 2020 under unparalleled circumstances. As I stand up here, I think back to that year, 2020. We began by being asked a question about would there even be an award in the theater category, in the playwriting category, and because there were so few plays that were open anywhere, and we said no, the show must go on. Sounds like a cliche, but we're pleased, I'm incredibly thrilled to see that the play that we honored that year has now been such a success on Broadway, which is Strange Loop. We did have the previous year the infamous, at least to Pulitzer Board members, 10-hour Zoom meeting on Saturday. Hopefully that will never be repeated again in history. We had the great pleasure of deliberating for this set of awards in person, and we felt that it would be a darn shame if everybody couldn't receive them in person, so thank you for your patience in waiting. The Pulitzer Prize, as always, are a snapshot of what was urgent in a given year.
The awards for 2021 are particularly telling. The journalism category is dominated by the defining moments of 2020, the murder of George Floyd and the racial reckoning that ensued, and the terrifying spread of the coronavirus across America. The arts and letters categories include deep examinations of our complicated and sometimes dark past, from the dispossession of Native Americans to the violent overthrow of a thriving Black community.
The journalists we honor today were brave, innovative, even heroic as they reported stories under lockdown. The special citation we awarded to Darnella Frazier, a 17-year-old who filmed George Floyd's death over more than 8 horrifying minutes, honors the crucial role that ordinary citizens can play in documenting events. The grim realities of 2020 also intruded into the realm of arts and letters, as artists across the country gave audiences much needed relief with virtual performance, with theaters across the country dark.
The year was also marked by deeply disturbing trends. Distrust in the media intensified and disinformation spread as quickly as the magnificent work that we are honoring today. We lost something fundamental as a country, the ability to begin our debate with an agreed set of facts. We also saw the unprecedented and disturbing rise in censorship as a wave of local and state restrictions banned books for their treatment of subjects including race, inequality, sexuality, and gender.
Rebuilding trust in our journalistic institutions feels like a Herculean task, which I know is a feeling that spreads through much of this room, whether you're a reporter or an editor. Still, we do see a road forward. The advent of the internet age smashed the business model of the newspapers whose success gave birth to the prizes we celebrate today, but it also gave journalists unprecedented ability to show readers and viewers the evidence underlying their conclusions.
The work we honored in 2021 did that. They informed us about COVID, the unfinished issues of race in America, the plight of the Uyghurs in China, and the shortcomings of American governance at the local and national level. It also reinforced the importance of our foundational principles to engage with works and ideas that challenge our worldview, even if they sometimes make us uncomfortable.
Taken together, the prizes that we are about to award show a path forward in these troubled times. So let's get started. What I need, though, is to begin, for a distinguished example of meritorious public service by a newspaper, magazine, or news site through the use of its journalistic resources.
The New York Times for courageous, prescient, and sweeping coverage of the coronavirus pandemic that exposed racial and economic inequities, government failures in the U.S. and beyond, and filled a data vacuum that helped local governments, healthcare providers, businesses, and individuals to be better prepared and protected. Congratulations to the New York Times.
For a distinguished example of local reporting of breaking news.
The staff of the Star Tribune of Minneapolis, Minnesota, for its urgent, authoritative, and nuanced coverage of the death of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minneapolis, and of the reverberations that followed. Andy Mannix, Carlos Gonzalez, Abby Simons, Kendall Harkness, and Suki Dardarian will accept the award. Congratulations.
For a distinguished example of investigative reporting.
Matt Rushello, Vernal Coleman, Laura Grimaldi, Evan Allen, Brendan McCarthy of the Boston Globe for reporting that uncovered a systematic failure by state governments to share information about dangerous truck drivers that could have kept them off the road, prompting immediate reforms. Congratulations to the Boston Globe.
For a distinguished example of explanatory reporting.
So there are two recipients of this award. Ed Yong of The Atlantic for a series of lucid, definitive pieces on the COVID-19 pandemic that anticipated the course of the disease, synthesized the complex challenges the country faced, illuminated the U.S. government's failures, and provided clear and accessible context for the scientific and human challenges it posed. Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, will accept the award on behalf of Ed Yong. Should we do this, or is that the next one too? I'll wait. Does this one have a recipient?
The second one, right?
And then Andrew Chung, Lawrence Hurley, and Andrea Januta, Jamie Dowdle, and Jackie Botts of Reuters for an exhaustive examination powered by a pioneering data analysis of U.S. federal court cases of the obscure legal doctrine of qualified immunity and how it shields police who use excessive force from prosecution. Congratulations to all of you from Reuters.
For a distinguished example of coverage of significant issues of local or statewide concern.
Kathleen McGorry and Neil Betty of the Tampa Bay Times for resourceful, creative reporting that exposed how a powerful and politically connected sheriff built a secretive intelligence operation that harassed residents and used grades and child welfare records to profile school children. Congratulations, Tampa Bay Times.
For a distinguished example of reporting on national affairs.
The staffs of the Marshall Project, A.L. Com of Birmingham, Indy Star of Indianapolis, and the Invisible Institute of Chicago for a year-long investigation of canine units and the damage that police dogs inflict on Americans, including innocent citizens and police officers themselves, prompting numerous statewide reforms. Abby Von Sickle of the Marshall Project, Chalyn Stevens of AL.com, Ryan Martin of Indy Star, and Andrew Fan of the Invisible Institute will accept the award. Congratulations.
For a distinguished example of reporting on international affairs.
Mega Rajapalpalan, Allison Killing, and Christo Bushek of BuzzFeed News for a series of clear and compelling stories that use satellite imagery and architectural expertise, as well as interviews from 24 former prisoners to identify a vast new infrastructure built by the Chinese government for the mass detention of Muslims. Congratulations to you.
For distinguished feature writing.
There are two recipients of this award: Nadja Drost, freelance contributor, The California Sunday Magazine, for a brave and gripping account of the global migration that documents a group's journey on foot through the Darien Gap, one of the most dangerous migrant routes in the world. And Michael S. Jackson, freelance contributor, Runner's World, for a deeply affecting account of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery that combined vivid writing, thorough reporting, and personal experience to shed light on systemic racism in America. Congratulations to both of you.
For distinguished commentary.
Michael Paul Williams of the Richmond, Virginia Times-Dispatch, for penetrating and historically insightful columns that guided Richmond, a former capital of the Confederacy, through the painful and complicated process of dismantling the city's monuments to white supremacy. Congratulations, Michael Paul Williams.
For distinguished criticism.
Wesley Morris of the New York Times for unrelentingly relevant and deeply engaged criticism on the intersection of race and culture in America, written in a singular style, alternately playful and profound. Congratulations, Wesley Morris.
For editorial writing.
Robert Greene of the Los Angeles Times for editorials on policing, bail reform, prisons, and mental health that clearly and holistically examined the Los Angeles criminal justice system. Congratulations, Robert Greene.
For a distinguished example of breaking news photography in black and white or color.
Photography staff of the Associated Press for a collection of photographs from multiple U.S. cities that cohesively captures the country's response to the death of George Floyd. Julio Cortez will accept the award.
That's cute. That's a picture. Yeah, yeah. Jose! Too bad, too late. I love to see the photographic brotherhood at work. For a distinguished example of feature photography in black and white or color.
Amelia Morinati of Associated Press for a poignant series of photographs that takes viewers into the lives of the elderly in Spain struggling during the COVID-19 pandemic. Congratulations, Amelia Morinati.
You were amazing. Jose! Jose! I can't get a hit that good. He is, though. You just can't see him. He is a news photographer.
For a distinguished example of audio journalism that serves the public interest.
Lisa Hagan of WABE Atlanta, Chris Haxel of KCUR Kansas City, and Graham Smith and Robert Little of National Public Radio for an investigative series on No Compromise, gun rights activists that illuminated the profound differences and deepening schism between American conservatives. Congratulations to all of you.
For distinguished fiction by an American author.
The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich, a majestic polyphonic novel about a community's efforts to halt the proposed displacement and elimination of several Native American tribes in the 1950s, rendered with dexterity and imagination. Louise is unfortunately unable to be with us here today.
For a distinguished play by an American author.
The Hot Wing King by Katori Hall, a funny, deeply felt consideration of black masculinity and how it is perceived, filtered through the experiences of a loving gay couple and their extended family as they prepare for a culinary competition. Katori is unfortunately unable to be here today. Congratulations to Katori.
For a distinguished and appropriately documented book on the history of the United States.
That's Franchise, The Golden Arches in Black America by Marcia Chatelain, a nuanced account of the complicated role the fast food industry plays in African American communities. A portrait of race and capitalism that masterfully illustrates how the fight for civil rights has been intertwined with the fate of black businesses. Congratulations, Marcia.
For a distinguished biography, autobiography, or memoir by an American author.
The Dead Are Arising, The Life of Malcolm X by the late Les Payne and Tamara Payne, a powerful and revelatory account of the civil rights activist built from dozens of interviews offering insight into his character, beliefs, and the forces that shaped him. Congratulations to Les Payne and Tamara Payne.
for a distinguished volume of original verse by an American author.
Post-Colonial Love Poem by Natalie Diaz, a collection of tender, heart-wrenching, and defiant poems that explore what it means to love and be loved in an America beset by conflict. Congratulations to Natalie Diaz.
For a distinguished and appropriately documented book of nonfiction by an American author.
Wilmington's Lie, the murderous coup of 1898 and the rise of white supremacy by David Zucchino. A gripping account of the overthrow of the elected government of a black-majority North Carolina city after Reconstruction that untangles a complicated set of power dynamics cutting across race, class, and gender. David is unfortunately unable to be here today. Congratulations to David Zucchino.
Yes, we've finally reached the end, but before I read the last award, I'd just like to say a small thanks to some people who made this all possible, both when Mindy and I were chairman and when Steve and Bob Blau were, and recently the Pulitzer Prize committee, Pulitzer Prize staff is really an extraordinary group of people, in particular Bud Clement, who stood in while we searched very hard, even beyond our tenure, for Marjorie Miller, who now is the administrator. And I can honestly say none of us would be here right now if it weren't for them. So I'd like to give that thanks before we move to the last award. And so, for distinguished musical composition by an American that had its first performance or recording in the United States during the year.
Stride by Tanya Leone, premiered on February 13, 2020 at David Geffen Hall, Lincoln Center, New York City. A musical journey full of surprise with powerful brass and rhythmic motifs that incorporate black music traditions from the US and the Caribbean into a Western orchestral fabric. Tanya's unfortunately unable to be here today. Please congratulate Tanya Leone. And then we conclude with a special citation. We conclude recognition of the 2021 prizes with a special Pulitzer Prize citation to honor Darnella Frazier for courageously recording the murder of George Floyd, a video that spurred protests against police brutality around the world, highlighting the crucial role of citizens in journalists' quest for truth and justice. Darnella is unfortunately unable to be here today, but please congratulate Darnella Frazier. So that concludes the ceremony. It has been a joy to recognize all of you properly today after a long wait. Congratulations, and of course, as I said at the beginning, thank you for the essential work you do. I'd now like to invite all of the 2020 winners up to the stage for a group photo together. We will then do the same with 2021 group. Everyone else, please make your way to the faculty house for the reception. We will see you there soon to continue the celebration. Thank you very much.